EBS could have stood by their broadcast. They could have said, yes, we heard it. Here's our source. But instead, they chose to protect power. They chose to protect their jobs instead of the truth. They let the credibility of the entire station burn just to keep one politician clean. Okay, guys, it's almost 4 a.m. here in Sweden, and I can't sleep. You know, I have gone over this EDO GIS case, 70-year-old acre, whatever, over and over again. The press release, the deniers, the silence. And I know one thing for sure. The people of Edo State deserve to know the truth. You see, before I started recording this video, just now, Facebook sent me 2 alerts. You requested a password change within 30 minutes, 2 alerts within 30 minutes. I didn't request any password change. So if you are watching this, it means somebody doesn't want this story out. But I will say it anyway while I still have my page. So please follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. At Melanated Ovezowoba is the same handle, just in case they take this one down. Now, let's talk about what really happened in Edo State. How confusion became communication and how truth became a threat. You see, this is what Edo GIS, an official state agency, sent out as a press statement. No signature, no letterhead, no reference number, just a WhatsApp text accusing nameless people of sponsoring fake news. Listen to the tone. Mischievous, criminal, evil agenda. That's not a press release. That's a panic release. It wasn't written to inform the public. It was written to protect someone. That's not the tone of an information agency. That's the language of panic. A government trying to create enemies instead of answering simple questions. And yet, this unsigned WhatsApp message is what Punch and This Day quoted, claiming it was signed by the director of press. Signed? Signed by who? The version I received had no signature. And when I asked the managing director of Edo GIS, Dr. Tony Ikpasaja, for a signed copy, he went berserk and told me the copy I had was the same one they sent to everyone, even Punch and This Day.
The statement that was sent to you is the total statement that was given to everybody. Why you didn't tell me, say, and that signed copy from This Day?
So I ask again, Punch, where did you see a signed copy? No verification, no accountability. Or is Punch now part of the cover-up? Nigerians, please, help me ask Punch newspaper. Did they just take the money and run the story? Or did Tony Ikpasaja lie by saying the copy Edo GIS sent out was unsigned? Either way, somebody is lying. And the truth is, that person is not me. You know what? Let me show you something. Now, notice something strange. The statement accuses unnamed sponsors, but never mentions EBS, the state-owned TV station that aired the story first. Now, if the story was fake, why not call out EBS publicly? Why accuse invisible rumor mongers when your own government media house broadcast the story? Why attack phantom sponsors when the story began on your own network? Who exactly were they accusing? EBS? The journalist who asked questions? Or the citizens who dared to believe their governor spoke the truth? Were they afraid to expose themselves? Now, this isn't a press release. It's a psychological operation. It was designed to shift guilt, redirect anger, and bury accountability. Now, this is where the story gets darker. Okay? When I first contacted Freddie Mokbai, the director of news at EBS, Edo Broadcasting Service, he was polite, professional, and open. He confirmed clearly that EBS got the story from approved government media aids. He said, and I quote, "The statement came from the right and approved source, from the governor's official media handlers." Those were his words. That was on record. We spoke for over 12 minutes. He was confident. But after that call, I sent him this message, thanking him for his openness and asking for a copy of the communique that came from the government house, the one he said they saw with which they ran the story. Then I updated him that I had also spoken with the chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, who said there was no press release from government house and that the only one he knew, Fred Itwa knew, was the one that came from the GIS debunking the story. I then asked him to send me a copy of the press release he said EBS got from the government house or from the government official handlers. That was when things changed. 2 days later, Fred made a complete U-turn. He started asking me, "Are you sure you saw that report on EBS?"
Are you sure you saw that here on EBS?
He suddenly didn't remember, like seriously. But remember, this is the director of news. Nothing airs on EBS without his approval. Like a director of news pretending not to know what airs on his own station. Guys, that's not confusion. That's fear. Now let's look at the pattern. First, EBS airs the story. Then Edo GIS denies it. Then the chief press secretary disowns it. Then EBS retracts its memory. And finally, silence. Now, this is institutional self-destruction. A state fighting against its own mouth just to protect the ears of power. Fred Mokbai's change of tone wasn't just random, it was fear. In Edo State today, truth has become a dangerous profession. People are more afraid of losing their jobs than losing their integrity. EBS could have stood by their broadcast. They could have said, "Yes, we aired it. Here's our source." But instead, they chose to protect power. They chose to protect their jobs instead of the truth. They let the credibility of the entire station burn just to keep one politician clean. That's not journalism. That's servitude. Now I ask, why all this noise? Why would the Edo government go through so much trouble over one story about a 17-year-old and 14,000 hectares of land? What were they trying to hide? Was this a distraction from the 250 million euro Africa CCI phantom deal? Or from the Iyeki versus Iyaloja crisis that's still unresolved? Or is there something, some other thing, some other secret plot we are yet to notice? Maybe they wanted to feed the public a moral drama, a story about a rich 17-year-old kid. So we stop asking about the billion vanishing through government contracts. So Edo people, this is not just about land or certificate of occupancy. This is about a government that can lie, deny, and rewrite the same story in 48 hours. A government that calls its own broadcast fake news. A government that silences journalists instead of answering questions. And now they are trying to silence me too. But I will keep speaking, because the day we stop asking questions, we become slaves to deception. So I urge you to share this video, tag your friends, your families, your lawmakers. And if my Facebook page goes down, find me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, the same handle at Melanated Ovienzowoba, because this story isn't over. And the silence of government will not bury the truth. It won't. They can lock the truth out of the newsrooms, but they can't lock it out of the people's conscience. Share this story.